Hey everyone, Tyler here at The Movie Beat. Welcome back to another Korean movie review. Hope you have a beverage of choice. Mine's always coffee. And ready to sit down for a few minutes while we talk about the Korean film from 2012, A Werewolf Boy. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and review on this movie. This one was directed by Jo Sung-hee. It was his first real commercial movie, and it stars Joong-ki and Park Bo-young. I'll show you guys this edition a little bit later. So I think a lot of people have considered A Werewolf Boy to be sort of the Korean response to the whole Twilight phenomenon, and having been released just 1 month before the final installment in that whole saga, you can't help but think that there was some influence that went into the script and the whole thought process behind this movie. Both films feature a beautiful young teenage girl who's kind of the loner type and moves out to the sticks where she meets a handsome young boy who has supernatural powers, and they develop a sort of romantic relationship. So Twilight, obviously it was vampires, and here we've got, I guess, werewolves. Not exactly, we'll get into that a little bit later, but this movie is much less horrific than anything with the word werewolf in its title might lead you to believe. It takes a real simple approach to telling its story, and ultimately it's just sort of a nostalgic tale about family and young love, and it focuses almost entirely on a romantic relationship that never was. Or the build-up to one that never was. This film is about a girl named Sunhee, played by Park Bo-young, who moves into a countryside house purchased by her late father's young business partner named Ji-tae, played by Yoon Yun-suk. Sunhee plans to live there peacefully with both her mother and younger sister while she studies from home to enter university. The fresh air and laid-back lifestyle should provide her some relief to her weakened lung. But to everyone's surprise, a mysterious, feral boy, played by Song Joong-ki, is found to be living in the barn out front. Unable to speak and behaving like a rabid wolf, the boy is unwelcome and sent away. When unable to secure a place for him in an orphanage, Sunhee's family is asked to take him in temporarily while other options are pursued. With their lives completely unsettled by the uncivilized boy's arrival, Sunhee's family must adapt to life with the boy around. They name him Chol-soo and begin to treat him as a member of the family. When Sunhee recognizes Chol-soo's instinct to protect her and her family, she takes a liking to him. So with notes from her book on dog training, Sunhee trains Chol-soo to eat and play nicely. They start to take a real comfort in each other and quickly form a special bond. And just as things begin to start looking up, house owner Ji-tae begins to make trouble with Sunhee, who he believes will be his future bride someday. This brings out Chol-soo's destructive inner beast, which raises questions about his origins and threatens his family relationship with Sunhee and her family forever. That's the setup to this movie, and the transition, there's actually a transition in this movie that goes from present day to way back, 47 years in the past. Is where this story takes place, and it kind of has a cute way that it sort of kicks off its fantasy vibe. If you've seen the film The Classic, it sort of employs a similar sort of convention with, in The Classic, we had Son Ye-jin's character who played both the daughter in modern times and her mother back in the day. I think it was 1968. And when they're around the same age. So the actress is playing both roles. And in this film, Park Bo-young plays the granddaughter to the main character, Sunhee, at the beginning of the film in modern day. And in the flashback, which is basically the whole film, 47 years in the past, Park Bo-young is playing the grandmother. And they sort of take it one step further with the actress Jang Young-nam. She plays the daughter of Sunhee, who's also a grown daughter and mother, with kids of her own in modern times, but that actress also plays Sunhee's mother in the flashback, the main portion of the film, 47 years back, so mid-1960s. This really creates that circle of life theme shown through the family generations, and it also helps to present one of the movie's, I think, main ideas, which is the cyclical nature of love. So also similar to the film The Classic, 2003, A Werewolf Boy is actually really cool with its portrayal of that old-timey state of Korea, mid-60s. It has a very distinct visual style. The picture is really sort of washed out and contrast levels are really low, but the saturation and warmth is boosted. So I really feel like this does a great job at giving the feeling of sort of an old, fading memory, but one that has very distinct and colorful memories that like it's really holding on to. And I really liked that presentation of the film. It was a little bit jarring at first, but you quickly get used to it, and the colors and everything, it's actually quite nice to look at. The outdoor countryside scenes bathed in a lot of the yellow and orange sunlight is really just gorgeous all around. And the family trips to the local market and village doctor were probably some of my favorite scenes, and how it shows that, like I said, old-timey Korea state. I loved the sets. There's a few issues though that you guys need to look past, or some people will need to look past to get into this movie. For me, the main thing was just I could not accept how Sunhee's family was sort of forced to take in the Wolf Boy. It was just so weird that there was no place for him to go, and he's clearly just rabid, super strong, who knows, violent, mysterious. Sunhee is a teenage girl. Her mother is, you know, a normal mid-30s, early 40s woman, and they have a really young, she's got a young sister, defenseless little, so it's these three girls, and they're forced to take in this really strong, wild teenage boy who's just really destructive on the outset. So that was really hard for me to, like, the authority, like nobody cared. They just sort of pushed it on him. But one of the characters also reinforces this, that, you know, I had to remember this movie takes place in the mid-60s, just after the Korean War. And so even one of the characters mentions that there's a lot of orphan children whose parents died in the war there's almost too many of them, and the system's really overwhelmed. So, you know, as much as modern times they would scoop that kid up and find some place for him to go, back then, you know, it's understandable. So once I remembered and sort of accepted that, I was able to then get into the melodrama. And A Werewolf Boy runs, I feel, a little bit long at 125 minutes, and the reason I feel like that is because there's not a lot of tension in the movie, and the tension in the movie that exists pretty much all comes from this character named Ji-tae, played by Yoo Yeon-suk. And although this character, Yoo Yeon-suk, nails it. I mean, he pulls off that sort of slimy dirtbag as good as the best of them. And although you're left sort of wanting Chosu, the wolf boy, to sort of bare his fangs a little bit sooner, the eventual payoff is quite decent. And let's be honest, A Werewolf Boy is really a showcase for its lead actors, Joong-ki and Park Bo-young. These are two highly loved and really idolized actors here in Korea. A lot of girls will tell you that they're a sort of dream guy, or, you know, idealistic type is sort of a Joong-ki type, and guys might say the same about girls being with Park Bo-young. So that dynamic exists and is really undeniable. So a lot of people are going to watch this movie, and even if they don't like it, they're going to like the actors in it for sure. So the movie gets a lot of credit for really putting these two together and creating something at least really nice to look at. So aside from their real signature good looks that they bring to every scene that they're in, they also do give really good performances in this movie. Park Bo-young really carries the film, as she's responsible for most of the dialogue, with Chosu being largely mute in the movie. But her best moments really come when she courageously sticks up for her family, or when her emotions really burst out when sort of managing her precarious predicament that she finds herself in with Chosu. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got Song Joong-ki. He puts on a real masterclass as far as body and facial performances go as the Wolf Boy. From his ravenous appetite as he's tearing through potatoes in the dinner table, to his puppy dog eyes, Song really runs the gamut of wordless expression. You're really left feeling his confusion, his anger, his loneliness. You know, and you get all of that through basically just his eyes. So, awesome job there for Song Joong-ki. A Werewolf Boy really is not one of those movies that's looking to keep people on the edge of their seats. There's very little bloodlust to speak of, and the whole werewolf bit is a bit misleading, to be honest. I kind of like the Korean title. It's more apt. It's just Wolf Boy. There really is no werewolf folklore. That's largely absent. Obviously, there are some transformations in this, but I think it's more similar to, like, say, Teen Wolf type of transformation rather than a Wolfman or Underworld type. And this whole movie really treads very lightly and feels just fluffy overall. And it sort of reminds me of what I feel when I watch Korean drama, that signature style that a lot of the Korean dramas have. To me, this means A Werewolf Boy can be very rewarding for those patient and willing enough to really get swept up in the melodrama, which at its core, that's what A Werewolf Boy is. It's a really well done melodrama. There's a delicate tenderness behind the claws and fangs and a sweet message of lost romance that I feel like could potentially warm even the coldest of monsters out there. So with that being said, I want to rate Werewolf Boy 6 out of 10. And obviously fans of the actors are going to already have seen this. And if you haven't seen this and you're a fan of the actors, what are you waiting for? Go out and see it. A Werewolf Boy. If you guys are looking to purchase it, might be worth, for fans of the film, definitely to get the CJ Entertainment Digipack Limited Edition. Another awesome release here. This was number 28, so it's one of the past titles. You got Song Joong-ki's character, Cho-soo, Park Bo-young there with Suni. Just a really cool digipack, and there's a nice photo book inside. Some people could be lucky and get some signed things. I do have a card that was written by the director that came with mine. I'm going to present that in another video later, but A Werewolf Boy, check it out for fans of melodrama. Fans of horror looking for a little bloody action, I would say hold off on this one. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of A Werewolf Boy in the comments below. And remember, if you guys enjoy this content, let me know by liking the video and perhaps even subscribing to the channel. That would really help me out in knowing what sort of content to push out going forward. And really appreciate you guys joining the discussion here and celebrating in our passion and love for Korean cinema. So that's going to be it for this one. I'm Tyler at The Movie Beat. Thanks for watching. Keep watching movies.